Hey, good morning. It is Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that must mean it's Saturday morning walk and talk time. Hey, good morning, everyone. How's everybody doing this morning?
Great.
Good
Super.
morning.
Great.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. Carol, I reached out to you earlier this morning just to see where in the world you were, because I know you and Hank are traveling, and it looks like you're, at least briefly, back in Florida or someplace with some nice blue sky. So I'd like to, if you're okay with it, start off with you. Good morning.
Good morning. Yes, I am back in town. And it looks like maybe our neighborhood might be having a garage sale here. I needed them about 2 weeks ago when I had our little great grandson here. And I had to go to buy a whole bunch of stuff for him because I obviously don't have that. And I'm seeing all this baby stuff out, and I'm thinking, whoa, where were you 2 weeks ago? Anyway, so it might be a little busy, so I might be on and off here with my microphone. But yeah, we were in Las Vegas last week with a whole slew of friends from our Amway business, and that was compliments of Amway Corporation. And it was tons of fun, tons of walking, tons of learning. And boy, if I was to say one thing, Nutrilite, under the affiliation of Amway Corporation, is putting so much emphasis on health. That is a big, big thing. We first walked in, and Marnie and I immediately scooted over to the first booth, which is a brand new eSpring water purification system that's easier to change, smaller in size, and revolutionary. So we got pure water. Then we went over to our Artistry Labs, which is our pure, excuse me, boy, this is busy today. Our pure skincare with all our nutrition from off of our Nutrilite farms. And then, of course, we went into the excess, which gives you all kinds of wonderful protein products, muscle builder products, and they're always improving. And then we went to Nutrilite, and they are continuing to expand their Nutrilite Organics. They have Nutrilite Organics protein bars coming out. They have now a flavorless protein powder, organics protein powder, if you guys weren't aware of that. And just all kinds of stuff. I could just go on and on and on, but I don't want to do that right now. I just want to say, make sure you guys are talking to people. Every day I get messages, emails on my email about the extreme importance of us getting people on a healthy lifestyle. We are in a very epidemic stage of poor health in the United States, and I don't know how it happened, but we are in the midst of it, and folks need us. And I was just reading an article. I won't go into the gruesome details, but the headlines was a woman at 56 years old dies over Ozempic.
Recording in progress.
She was taking Ozempic, which we know is something that just is horrible. Well, it is. And she was taking it so she could lose weight for her daughter's wedding. Now she was vomiting and all kinds of distress in her abdomen and her whole system. It was just, she was feeling horrible, but she wanted to lose weight for her daughter's wedding more than the horrible feeling. So she just overlooked it, kept overlooking it. And septic stuff happened in her system and she died. That's an extreme story, but there's lots of people that are taking that product that should not, because it's not teaching them anything about a healthy, vibrant lifestyle and making healthy choices. And so that really struck me that we just need to continue to talk to people, encourage people, And maybe even if they aren't ready right this moment to get on a program, at least get them on some supplementation and keep the thread going and keep telling them about it. Especially if you, and I know some of you on this call are in a weight loss mode right now. If you're in that, just talk about it. Talk about what you're doing. Talk about how great you're feeling. Talk about the weight you're losing. And it's just wonderful stories are coming out of HealthPointe. We need to be sharing them. So lastly, I'm part of a small, very, very small group of leaders in Network 21 that are addressing HealthPointe and seeing what are needs that we can get out more efficiently and talk to people. What kind of support can we get? And one of the things I suggested would be very, very good is a website. We've got a beautiful app, but we don't have a wonderful website. And I think that would be so helpful for people when they're talking to others to be able to direct them to a website. And Network 21 is very receptive on that we're going to be having a call in a couple of weeks and talking about different things we can do, and website was one of them. And I got a positive response on that. The other one was we have a wonderful little trifold in our print shop, all on HealthPointe, but it needs to be updated just a little bit, not the program, but just a few of the product selections. And I've encouraged them to print it in a nice glossy trifold and sell them in packs of 10 that we can, when we're talking to somebody, give them something like that. So there's lots of things that we'll be communicating with them in the future. But any suggestions and ideas you guys got of needs as you're growing your HealthPointe program, is filter them over to me, and we'll see what we can do from Network 21 standpoint. So I'm more and more excited about the program than I've ever been, and more determined to help people and to get the story out there. So I'm going to turn it back over to you, Eric. And thanks for listening, and sorry for all the interruptions here. We have a busy neighborhood this morning. Thank you.
Yes, actually, Carol, we're distraction free, at least on my end. I didn't hear a single distraction, so maybe it's just your earphones that are filtering that out. But you came through loud and clear, not only just from an audible clarity standpoint, but as always, loud and clear on just some hugely valuable points. Real interested in all the different things that you mentioned that you guys discovered out in Vegas with Nutrilite, and just love the big picture of them continuing to focus on this lane, this domain of health and wellness. And man, do we have some, I mean, we've just got the best. We've just got the best firepower behind us in terms of, just rooms full of PhDs and, full labs and facilities. Many of us are going to see that at our winter conference in January, where we'll be able to go out and tour the Nutrilite facility out there. And it's just so exciting that that's out there. And then, yeah, sad story about, some of the extreme poor outcomes that come from, various pharmaceuticals. That's a horrific story. But guys, so that you understand the GLP-1 class of drugs, again, people should consult with their doctors but also be their own best advocate, as we really pointed out last week on our own personal story with Emily and I, and some, you just gotta educate yourself, be your own best advocate on that. But the GLP-1 class of drugs is, big picture, it is a system, a drug to kind of slow down that process, of that's what gives you the full feeling, right? Okay, right. That's what causes people to say, hey, I'm not hungry. Well, what can be some of the effects of that? There's some, focus on the colon and colon health. And we don't know. I mean, there's various studies out there and so forth, but it is, because it's such an epidemic with over 100 million Americans in some state of obesity or pre-diabetics or diabetics. Obviously, there's people out there that are just grasping for whatever solution that they think can help them. And, to your point, Carol, that we just need to share. I'm actually going to comment a bit on that myself when my segment comes around a little bit on the U+2 campaign. So we'll chat more on that. But in the meantime, gosh, let's go around the horn. I'm gonna, again, guys, if you can raise your hand if you're interested, because as we grow, it makes it more difficult to get everybody in. Let's see. Larry, if you are okay, I would like to queue you up. Always love to hear from you. Eileen, I don't know. Let me say something real quickly on Eileen, and let me just apologize to Eileen and Bruce on Eileen. I saw your comment on the Facebook page. I'm going to do a better job on that. The YouTube algorithm, when I edit the video, it just grabs a shot from the recording, and I've had it happen to me where it's not always a shot that we would like it to be. And so I'm going to do a better job of, working to manually correct that and so forth. So apologize for that. But Eileen, if you care to chat, you're welcome to chat. We always love to hear from the newer people. I would say Marilyn, and as well, if you want to kind of be on deck, and then Larry. But let's go to Larry. And then Eileen, if you're interested, and then Marilyn. Okay, Larry, good morning, if you're ready, that is.
Hi, Eric. Hey, good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm sure I missed a little bit of Carol's talk a little there, but I do know that, as she was saying, that a lot of people are having mixed feelings about using these new drugs that are coming out to get results of losing weight, and they're not looking at what could be the consequences. As a matter of fact, more and more people are taking a look at those. So, you do have to be careful because there are side effects. And just like people taking medication, which I'm glad that I've gotten off of many of my medications because of HealthPointe, but taking that shortcut, there's usually no shortcuts. And usually there's some things, some consequences that you have to deal with. And most people, when they get their medications, a lot of times they look at what they should do and what it's for, but they rarely go down the page and look at the side effects that could happen. And then when they are going through whatever situation that they're going through, and they have some of those side effects, it's funny how you can look down there on your medicine sheet and find something that you're going through. So, we need to pay attention and be careful to that, because those drugs do have side effects. And so we have to be careful about it. So I don't know. I just know that, like Carol said, if we can help people so that they're not taking the shortcut route and then having consequences that they have to deal with later, we don't know all the consequences yet. And so that's one thing that seems to be very important, and I'm sure we can help a lot of people. The other thing is I want to thank David, because last week, I believe, he talked about the muscle multiplier. And so, it's funny how it's just like when you want to buy a car. You go out and you start looking at cars, and then the car that you're looking at, all of a sudden you see it everywhere you go. And so the things that we get focused on, maybe that could be a point here. The things that we get focused on, we seem to see more of. And David was talking about HealthPointe last week. And so I have a couple more clients that are interested in that product. And I won't tell you all the benefits. Eric could tell you a little bit more about it, but it has more benefits than just building muscle. And as you get older, you do need to maintain your muscle. I see a lot of people in their lives are being compromised because they had a fall. And what most people don't realize is sometimes that fall is caused by their loss of muscle. And so we're trying to keep people healthy and strong so that they can live their lives, a quality life, a life that they can continue doing the things that they do. So, Eric, that's all I have to add. Thanks for giving me an opportunity to share, okay?
Hey, Larry, you always hit it out of the park. We love to hear from you. And yeah, the portion on the falling and so forth, I'm actually going to cover a little bit on that as well. So gosh, guys, did we have a meeting before the meeting or something? We are all definitely on the same page here, and love what you say about David Dassow helping you with some things with focus. And it isn't an interesting principle out there, and there is some science behind that too. I can kind of geek out on some of these principles, but just briefly, many of you are familiar with what's called the reticular activating system, which is a neural net at the base of our brainstem. And basically its job is to allow various stimulus through to our awareness. Absent of that neural net, we would quite literally go crazy, because we are getting thousands, tens of thousands, millions of stimulus right now. You're not even thinking about it. The temperature of the air, if you're sitting down, the pressure of the seat against your legs, any smells, these are, thousands of stimulus. And if that was all coming to your conscious mind and your awareness, you would go really bonkers. So the purpose of the reticular activating system is to basically bring to our awareness that which is important to us. Well, you can be proactive on kind of programming your reticular activating system by reviewing your goals, by visualizing your goals, by emotionalizing your goals, by talking about it. And suddenly, like you say, the best example is, we never saw a particular car ever, and then we're thinking about buying that car, and suddenly, let's say it's a red Ford pickup, and now we see red Ford pickups all over the place. Did they just appear overnight? No, they were always there. We were always seeing them. It's just that now it's important to us because we're thinking about buying one. So now we see them all over the place. And guys, it's a powerful tool, a powerful part of our capabilities. And we just need to do the job of focusing on our goals, rehearsing them in our mind and visualizing them and emotionalizing them and priming that reticular activating system to be, aware of the things that are important. So that's really, really great stuff. So thank you, Larry. And Marilyn, I don't know if you are interested in chatting. Let me, and I've got, go ahead, Marilyn, if you're interested. If you're not, let's see here. I know you're out often walking crazy crackers. You might be walking crazy crackers. So we're going to pass on Marilyn. I've got a hand raise here from Eileen. Good morning, Eileen. How are you?
Good morning. So I wanted to thank you about the picture thing. I was trying to be okay with that picture, but thank you very much. And Bruce, we just wanted to share something real quick.
Well, I've been enjoying, the program as well. Just continually dropping weight, and we go to our meetings and church, whatever, and I'm able to wear an old suit that I didn't have and actually button it. So right. I've been waiting for that day, and also getting into other shorts and things that I have in my wardrobe. So I'm glad to be getting back my body.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, and you guys just are continuing to progress. Love it. Those are just fun things. I had someone chat the other day, not only on the weight loss, but was doing her measurements, and she had lost 5.5 inches in this one critical area. Wow. So I know, Bruce, you had talked about being like 2 or 3 belt loops changed, and now you're able to get back into some clothing that it sounds like you haven't been in a while. What a great benefit.
Yeah, down another belt size as well.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I wanted to share something, if it's okay.
Yes,
Real quick.
yes, for sure.
So I have a knee issue, and I've had it now for maybe less than a year, but not, it's something it's arthritis. So I have to deal with it, and I have to walk even if it hurts. So this week it's been really bad. And Carol mentioned the turmeric that just came out, and I ordered that because my doctor said to get it and I never did it. So I'm excited to see if that helps over time. And then, so I wanted to share that. And then since we got back from the cruise, I lost some weight on the protein days and I kind of stalled. And Carol mentioned, have you been at this weight before? Is this a memory weight or something? And I thought that was good to remind me of that. And I said, no, I haven't. But you know what? This is kind of personal. I'm sharing it with the world. I'm right at the stage of getting into overweight from being obese. And I'm like, you know what? I think I've been thinking I'm just fat. And I've identified with that. So to go to the next stage down maybe was something I need to address in my mind and be okay with, that I don't need to identify as that anymore. And so I'm kind of excited about trying to do that. And I think Carol really pointed that out, and it hit home with me. I just
Well,
want to share that.
I was looking at a picture of Eileen, and she was with her daughter, I think, on the cruise, and looking at the beauty that is absolutely coming out of her face. And it wasn't even a full body. It was just her and her daughter's facial picture. But I thought, she's drop dead gorgeous. And it's amazing how just some of that weight coming off just absolutely brings that beauty out in a person. And I was so excited to see that, that when a person starts to transform, the beauty that comes out of them, not that there's not an inner beauty in everybody, but the natural beauty that starts to emerge, is so amazing. I just lost my thing here. It's just so amazing as people transform to just see the difference. And sometimes when you're walking in your own body, you don't see it as much because it's so gradual. But when others see it in you, it's amazing. And I'll tell you, that is the best advertisement for HealthPointe as far as I'm concerned. So anyway.
You've got that right. You've got that right. So yeah, it's basically unveiling or revealing that the beauty that we have in us. And like you say, we should all have, healthy self-love no matter where we're at. But I just think, if someone is getting unhealthy, if they're getting diabetic, if they're getting obese, there's not only the weight, but there's also a bit of almost like an ashen, kind of an ash color that seems to come over people that I see. And it's like really transformative. And when people are getting healthier, you often see it not only in the weight, but also just like in the skin tone and the vibrancy. Maybe it's an inner feeling that kind of comes through too. But Eileen, you are a beautiful woman. Bruce is a lucky man, and you're just we're just just super excited for you guys on your continued journey here, and we're learning a lot from you guys. You commented about your cruise. We're coming into the holiday season for most everybody, and all these, your cruise was perfectly timed because it was kind of a what a lot of us have coming up in front of us in terms of a little different environment, maybe not as much control of the environment, and how to navigate that and so forth. So really appreciate you guys and all your contributions. So thank you again. We are going to go, I think I saw Corey on here. Corey, if you are still on here and care to chat, let me see. I believe you are. I guess if you're in here, Corey, and you care to speak, go ahead, and then we'll go to Kathy. I see a hand raised with Kathy. So Corey, if you care to speak, you need to unmute. We'll give you a pregnant pause here and wait for Corey to unmute if he cares to. If not, we're going to go to Kathy. And there you go, Corey. Corey, are you there? Hello, Corey.
Morning. Yeah, good morning.
No.
Yeah, it's another cool day out in Georgia now. It's kind of funny to say that, but yeah, it's temperature's we got a little bit of misty rain yesterday, but it started to warm up a little bit, warm up a little bit today. So, but I'm glad to see that. So, but yeah, it's good. It's kind of exciting to see. I'm glad to hear the great and inspiring stories and stuff with HealthPointe, and people are reaching their health goals. And I just finished up a box of Double X, and I need to get some more. And so that's definitely sharing with my wife Nika, and sharing with my parents about how I love the Double X, how smooth. They've always kept the tablets, and at one point I would recommend, when you take your supplements, as we already know, with eating, and so it can better absorb, and then have juice or some water with it. But one time I got desperate and was like, oh, I don't have anything with me. I just took the tablets and swallowed them without anything. I wouldn't recommend it. But funny enough, with Nutrilite on the tablet, went down so smooth I didn't even really realize it. So it was like, wow, even without the juice or water, the Double X tablets are so smooth, and the Nutrilite, plant-based coating on there, they went down like nothing. But of course, drink some water and some juice with it. But it was good. I was just like, whoa, this is great. I love how the quality of it is that are on these the Nutrilite Double X products. That's one of my favorite products there. But along with that, and just trying to maintain healthy through these the season here, as we're about to come into Thanksgiving and other holidays and things like that coming up. It's a great time. And I told people, like, with Nutrilite, digestive enzymes, as we eat a lot these different times, but we want to maintain healthy lifestyle so we don't get tempted eating the wrong things on this thing. So keep your eyes on the prize, because the new year is coming, and you know how that goes with the New Year's revolution, New Year's resolution. There's so many not making, sometimes they break, different times off and on, but get a head start. I say encourage everybody to get a head start and keep your eyes on the prize. Like they say, begin with the end in mind, keeping your encouraging yourself, keep encouraging yourselves, and continuing to maintain that your health goals, because as the new year comes and things like that, and time goes by so fast and quickly, you never really know who else you inspire, because these stories definitely continue to help others, inspire others along the way as they go on their journey.
I love it. Yeah. Corey, you hit on something that I've experienced myself, and maybe a number of us have, where you just take that fistful of supplements and you really don't have anything with it. And yeah. But it does go down, because it, like you said, and that's very well said, actually, Corey. You're talking about the coating. There was a lot of focus on that. There was a recent kind of a reformulation in terms of the size of the tablet, just to kind of meet that need in the marketplace, really, where people, they don't want to take some big gigantic horse pill that's got sandpaper wrapped around the edge of it, right? So we just got the right size. They've got that great coating on there, and not that we recommend just taking a dry handful of supplements and trying to get them down, but if you find yourself in a rare situation like that, at least we know it goes pretty decently. So thank you, Corey. You are just an expert and just a strong, consistent advocate on the whole Nutrilite brand, which is huge. I mean, it's a huge brand, and it's huge to be focused on that. That's where we're at. That's where the core of the HealthPointe program is it's not Diet Point, it's HealthPointe, right? And so we want overall health, and that means getting our micronutrients and so forth. So
Good morning.
Going around the
Be
horn,
good.
and I'm going to go to Kathy. You've got your hand raised, and thank you for that. And Kathy, the step queen as we know her, Kathy, you've got the floor.
Hey guys, good morning. I can't stay on long because I'm actually supposed to be working, but I did the setups that they needed and they're going to need me shortly again. But I just wanted to pop in and wish everybody a happy and blessed Thanksgiving, number one. Number two, Step Queen is on 1 year, 232 days today consecutively.
Woo!
So
Oh,
getting closer to that 2-year mark. So things are definitely going well. Looking forward to working about 7.5 hours overtime today at time and a half. So that's always nice. And it's very cold here, 28 degrees this morning. I was like, oh my God. So, and this conference room is always really chilly. So I knew that. So you can see I've got my little puffer vest on with a fleecy top. So at least I'll be warm for the 7.5 hours. I won't be as cold as I usually am at work. So that's kind of a nice thing. So just want to encourage everybody. Yes, I am the Step Queen. It takes a conscious effort every day. As you can see right now, I'm quickly walking back and forth in my little section just because I don't know how today's going to go. But it'll get done. That's for sure. And it's just those little things. You make sure you drink your water, definitely take your supplements, even if you don't have anything to take with them. We heard today you can still get them down. So that's a good thing. So there's really no reason to miss your supplements now. So I just really want to just encourage everybody to just keep going. Every day's a new day. If one day you kind of fall off a little bit, that's okay, especially with Thanksgiving coming up. If you know you're going to eat a big meal, get a lot of steps in before you go, because that will just kind of help. And then maybe an hour after you've eaten, maybe try and walk around the house wherever you're visiting and just say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm in a health program. I do some steps. And maybe you'll get somebody else that'll want to join you that way. I mean, I've done that. The family hasn't jumped on board yet, but a couple of them, they keep asking and they see what I've done. I've kept 58 pounds off for almost, it'll be 5 years in January. So I wasn't doing 10,000 steps a day consecutively then either, but at least, 6 to 7 to 8,000. So just be smart, believe in yourself, and you can do it. And I am sorry, but everybody have a blessed Thanksgiving, and I do have to go. Bye-bye.
All right. I love it, Kathy. I love it. And one of the many things I love about Kathy is that she just makes it work. We've seen Kathy doing steps inside her house routinely. Here we've seen her in her vehicle. I remember one time you and David were off to somewhere and you're like, hey, I can do this. And you had your phone on in the passenger seat in the car and you just kind of zoomed in on that. And here you are, you had reached out and said, hey, I've got to be called in to work on, this Saturday and this Saturday. So you anticipated not being on. And here you are, not only on, but you're exempling. Again, you're the Step Queen, but you are the example queen as well, in that you can integrate this into your life, including when you're in on a Saturday work day and you're up getting your steps. You look great. That's a beautiful puffy vest there. And you're the example queen, Kathy. And we thank you very much for everything that you always contribute here. So I am going to jump in next and cover some things. And then David Dassow, if you're interested, and then Hank, if you're interested. So I want to jump in on two things. One is kind of the science corner, as we'll call it, kind of the deep dive on, not so much science, but something regarding, Larry, you talked about it as far as health and kind of helping prevent falls and strength and so forth. And then the other is, Carol, picking up on Carol, talking about sharing and kind of promoting. And we've just got such a flagship product here in terms of the HealthPointe program. And I want to talk about kind of marketing and promotion. And Corey, you actually alluded to this as well about the New Year's resolutions that everybody will probably be making nationwide as we come in around January, and it would be really good to get ahead of that and be proactive on that. So I wanted to chat about that a little bit, but let me first talk about just some things in terms of picking up on what Larry was talking about in terms of, our strength. Again, this is HealthPointe. Now in HealthPointe, we talk about walking, right? We talk about 10 to 15,000. We just saw Kathy, doing her steps and so forth. And one of the things that can occur is anybody, and don't answer this because it just kind of messes with our Zoom recording, but just rhetorically asking, has anybody ever experienced any kind of joint pain, any kind of hiccup in their health in terms of like knees or ankles or something that just kind of has restricted their mobility and so forth like that? And I'll raise my hand on that and say, I have. So specifically, a little over a year ago, I suffered a kind of what I thought was a minor injury, of all things, playing pickleball. And I think that's where it crept up on me, as I wasn't like doing anything that was like super, in my opinion, hardcore. I'm playing pickleball, but like anything, I went into the court. It was an indoor court, but it's under a dome and it's in the wintertime, so it's cold in there. And I'm going to mute you, Carol, one moment. I'm going to mute you one moment. Okay. And so what I was saying is that I didn't warm up because, right, it's pickleball. And I thought I don't need to warm up. And, a court or a ball kind of went, that I had to sprint for it. And I felt a little tweak in my knee area. And I thought, that's no big deal. And I kept playing. Long story short, guys, this thing stayed with me for better part of a year. And here's what it ended up to draw a picture. And if you guys can relate to this, where I most noticed it is if I'd been sitting in the car for a while, let's say I'm driving along and then I stop in a parking lot and I've got to walk into the store. And I would get out of the car and I felt like just like I don't want to say an old man, because I hope to be old and healthy, but just like I was clunky. I would get out of the car and probably for about 50 yards, it would be painful. I was like limping. It was like clunky. It was rigid. It was tight. And once I kind of got warmed up, halfway across that parking lot, then it was kind of okay, right? And then it was pretty much fine. And then I would get back in my car. And if I drove for a while or was seated, and same thing in the morning, I would get up in the morning, I would get out of bed. And if I just started walking, it was very, very clunky. All right. So let's talk about that. Okay. And so I ultimately went to a physical therapist and they were helpful. They're definitely helpful. But again, guys, it's best to be your own advocate. And here's where I would like to take a little bit of a turn on some of this stuff and actually make a recommendation. I don't make a lot of strong recommendations on programs or people out there because we've got to be careful, on some of these health people. They might be actually valuable, but they can be on their own rabbit trail in terms of certain products that they endorse or something like that. And so we've got to be aware of that. But there's a guy out there, maybe some of you have heard of him. He's most widely known as the knees over toes guy. And his name is Ben Patrick. And actually the brand is called ATG, which is Athletic Truth Group. And Carol, he's down by you guys. He's down in the Clearwater, Tampa area. And so the knees over toes principle is, anybody that's been out there in any kind of athletics, has talked to anybody in any kind of conventional physical therapy or something like that, there's this dogma that when you do a bend or any kind of a movement that is involving your knees, they say to keep your knee behind your toe. And again, you don't have to answer this because it'll mess with the Zoom, but I'm sure most of you have heard this. Oh my gosh, if you're going to squat down, if you're going to do anything, don't let your knee go over your toe. Keep your knee back behind your toe. And this guy, Ben Patrick, debunks that. Like many things, like the standard American diet, this thing started back in like the 50s and the 60s by some doctor that did some study that wasn't, it didn't have good, strong peer review. And it just got its own momentum, got its own life. And the principle it's not like they're totally ignorant. The principle was that if you move your knee beyond your toe, there was a risk of kind of a shearing strength or a shearing mechanism on your knee and increased load on your knee. All right, sounds fair enough. And certainly if you're a PT and you don't want people to get, walk out of your clinic being, with some pain or something like that, you just dumb it down and just don't allow them to do any kind of movement that's going to cause any kind of harm whatsoever. Here's the problem. Think about it. When you go through your life, think about like walking up and down stairs. Think about that kind of movement. Think about squatting down, seeing a baby squat down and pick something up. Are their knees over their toes? Yes. When you go up and down stairs, are your knees needing to go over your toes? Yes. So what happens if you go about your training, your thinking to saying, oh my gosh, I can't allow my knees to go over my toes? You lose some of that capability. You lose some of that strength. And here's where I just want to bring it home. Yes, muscles are important. We want to work on that. But we also want to work on, connective tissues. So these are your tendons. These are your ligaments. There's all kinds of connective tissues. Fat is a connective tissue. Muscle is a connective tissue. But specifically on ligaments, which is the element, the connective tissue that is connecting bone to bone, is your ligament. If you're not strengthening and stretching those, you're putting yourself at increased risk potentially. If you're not strengthening your tendon and increasing your capability in your tendons, which is your tendons are what's connecting muscle to bone, then again, you're putting yourself at increased risk potentially, so that if you snag a toe on a curb as you're walking, or you step on something that kind of twists your ankle a little bit, if you're not strong in those connective tissues of tendons and ligaments, and yes, muscle, then you can be at increased risk. So what Ben Patrick and his program focuses on is various exercises where you are doing knees over toes type exercise. So what's one of the most practical ones that I do routinely, and guys, I am now fully free of that pain. I'll tell you where I'm at. Let me tell you what I do, and then I'll tell you where I'm at. My most common thing that I do, because it's very scalable, you can do it almost all the time, is I walk backwards. Okay. Now, don't do this maybe on a paved parking lot, but if you're going across grass, you can do it. Where I routinely do it is on stairs. I'll just keep a hand on the rail and I'll go down the stairs, and then I'll walk back up the stairs backwards. I'll go down the stairs, I'll walk back up the stairs backwards. I'll go down the stairs, I'll walk back up the stairs backwards. And that's building that knees over toes, that connective tissue, strengthening those tendons, strengthening those ligaments, building that skeletal strength. And I do some other things. I do what's called split squats. Again, you do this first with support. You never want to, in these elements, you never want to be like working through pain. This isn't one of those things where you want to work through pain. If you have any pain, you want to support yourself. But the other thing is a split squat. So you can start with an elevated position. Again, you can use stairs where you can stand facing the stairs, put your one foot up on a stair in front of you, and maybe holding onto the rail for support. Do a split squat down, compressing on that forward leg, and then push back up. And then eventually, as you get stronger and stronger and more flexible, you'll move more into a deeper, more pronounced split squat. Here's the end result. When I would go into that conventional PT, and by the way, I did cover some of this information with them because I was just starting to learn it. They kind of but me, poo-pooed it. And, again, they were helpful, but they're just in their own dogma. They're in their own systems. And so when we did a range of motion test, if I was in a kneeling position, so this is down on the ground, think like if you're kneeling like at an altar or something, okay? I'm down on the ground, both knees on the ground, my torso is upright, and now I've got to go sit back towards my heels to test that range of motion. my right leg could not go beyond, I'll say 30 degrees without big pain, big pain. Okay, that was my range of motion. Again, getting out of the car, walking out of a car and into a parking lot, I was 50 yards before, but the clunkiness was gone. Now I can get down on my knees, sit fully back on my heels, lay back on my back on the floor behind me with my legs underneath me. Okay, so guys, that's a bit of a segment. Maybe we'll do more of a deep dive. That's more deep dive than I planned on. Sorry about the length of that, but guys, we promote movement, we promote walking. And my point on this is that if you are in HealthPointe, first of all, you're losing weight. If that's your goal, you're losing weight. That is, of course, the foundational benefit on your joints. If you're losing weight, if you lose 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 pounds, just think about the benefit of that. Carol, reminds me of your little image that you shared once where it was the individual walking into the doctor's office and saying, you know, doc, my knees are killing me. And in the image, in the drawing, he's got a refrigerator strapped to his back, right? And the doctor says, okay, sir, well, the first thing we need to do is do an MRI and all these various tests to figure out what your problem is. You know, not pointing to the obvious, and that is he's got a refrigerator on his back. So guys, if you're carrying an extra 50 pounds, extra 100 pounds, that's like having that refrigerator on your back. And of course, you know, that is a foundational thing, is to get that weight off of you. And then maybe with these additional focuses on connective tissues, another big one is what's called synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is basically a viscous, kind of like an egg yolk or egg white type of a fluid that's in your joints. And the more nutrients that you're taking in, the more that you're exercising these types of connective tissues, the more healthy that synovial fluid is going to be, which is the lubricant in your joints. Hank talked about glucosamine. All of these things, guys, don't you want to be pain-free walking? Don't you want to be like Carol Zampa doing power walks, you know, every day? That's what we all want. And, you know, you can lose the weight, you can have a healthy blood panel, you can have all of this, and still might not feel good out there walking, or still be at risk of a injury if you're not strong on your connective tissue. So I wanted to hit on that. Lastly, guys, and this, I think I'll do more show than tell, but because I want to consult with Carol a bit more on this, but we have a program that we're promoting called U+2. So this is the marketing segment. So U+2 is, guys, it's so viral, the HealthPointe is. Many of us have experienced the issue of people coming up to you and saying, gosh, you look like you've lost a bunch of weight. Gosh, you look healthy. What have you been doing? And they're asking not just for conversation, they're asking because they want to know how to do what you've done. So there's a natural virality to it. And so what I've done is I've done what's called a U+2 program for existing clients out there, where if they have this natural virality, or if they do a little bit of a reach out, and those new clients, they basically recruit 2 new clients, those new clients will get a substantial discount on their HealthPointe package, okay? And then the existing client that's doing that recruiting, doing that reach out, will also get a substantial discount on their next, in our case, a 3-month, you know, these are 3-month orders. These are 12-week orders that they're doing. So you've got the recruiting client that's excited and doing great things. That's the U, okay? Then the +2 is they recruit, you know, 2 friends that they're probably already talking to anyways. This is just like, hey, go ahead and help them. Let's get them started. Let's get them in place. They can start the program New Year's if they want to, into January, or they can start it immediately. But let's incentivize, let's give them a little bit of money off. Let's give the client who's doing the work of the recruiting and talking to people some money off. Let's do a U+2 program. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a Facebook post that again, you know, take, you know, whoever your coach is, whoever your mentor is, take their advice, take their counsel, not mine. But if it's okay with them, you can go onto my Facebook post that I'll post. I'll have some before and after pictures of myself. I'll have some other stuff in there. And you can I can either tag you and it'll just post on your wall, or you can share it and just give your own commentary, your own experiences or whatever. And that will get out ahead of this New Year's resolution stuff here, because I'm putting there's a date on it of November, the end of this month, for this U+2 campaign. They have to get on board, purchase their package before that date in order to get those discounts on there. Okay. All right. So as typical, I've taken up way more than the time that I should, but I wanted to cover that on the knees and joints, and I wanted to cover the U+2 program. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Dassow if he's available, and then Hank if he's available. So David, the floor is yours if you're interested and available.
Hello, everybody. It's a beautiful 20-ish degree day in Michigan. Chris and I are having a great walk here together. And so they were talking about the beauty. And one of the things that I often talk to people when I talk about HealthPointe is not just the outer beauty, but the inner beauty. And people are often resistant at first for the Nutrilite supplements, but I truly believe it's the Nutrilite supplements that will then bring out a lot of that inner beauty back out as all of our cells get healthier and healthier. And then on walking backwards. And so when I'm very bad at stretching, and I see a massage therapist once a month, and she's always telling me that I need to do yoga, that I need to stretch. And then a few years ago, I was very sick, and I got involved in the Wim Hof program. And part of what he encourages us to do is a couple exercises that are supposed to help out with the breathing and all that. And so I started doing that. And when I went back to my massage therapist, she just laughed at me and she said, "He tricked you. You're now doing yoga." So anyways, the importance of stretching and moving. And a while back, I don't know, I had some calf problems with walking. And so I started walking backwards on the grass in order to do the opposite of walking. And I found that really helped with my calf muscles. And then once I'm still a little crazy. And so I ended up walking backwards, kind of like a cornerback where you're jogging backwards. And so to help with my balance, help get another stretch. So stretching, inner beauty. And then the third thing was, and I just bring it up because it's just my biggest issue. And as a sanguine, maybe my personality, I'm the chief fun officer and want of my family and want to have fun and want to feel good. And so, but many of the things that we need to do in life, you don't feel like doing it. And so I always kind of get back to being, how mentally tough are you? Are you the rider of the horse? And so I am not an exercise person at all. And so, I wake up in the morning and my body says, lay in bed. My brain says that to me, and my mind says, no, put your feet on the floor, get some clothes on and go for a walk. And so for some people, it may be an easy flow, but for me, it's always been kind of a challenging flow, even after all these years of doing it. And so my flow is that I walk it a little bit in the morning, get some sunlight in my eyes.
Well, at least on my Zoom, Dave, you froze a little bit there, but you've got sunlight in your eyes.
And I always do. And so anyways, just the importance of mental toughness. Another one having to do with walking is, my goal is I strive to hit 8,000 steps a day. And so I walk those morning, walk in the afternoon, and then by early evening, I'm looking at my steps. I'm going, oh man, I'm already at 8,000. I could do 10,000 today. And so then I'll go out and walk a little bit in the evening. And then at night, like before I go to bed, I go, well, I'm going to bed. No, I got 400 steps and I could get 10,000. And so just pushing yourself to each little level here motivates you to go to the next level there, and could motivate you to hit the 10,000. And so that's it. Thank you very much. I'm out of breath.
I love it, David. And why does it not surprise me that you were already aware, or even if you weren't aware, you're more importantly doing, the walking backwards things. I remember once we were talking about another topic, and that's where it came up about you're doing the Wim Hof and the deep breathing. And I think it was a segment that Erica was doing where she was talking about the autonomic nervous system and the value of the breathing exercises. And then, lo and behold, but no surprise, David had that really going on with his work with the Wim Hof breathing. So guys, we've got such a great, go ahead.
The breathing program, see, for me, that's easy. As Wim Hof calls it, you get high on your own supply. And after having done it for a while, I just can't imagine going a day without doing it. And so there are some of those habits that you go, whoa, you can't wait to do it. But then there's other things that, that you have to be mentally tough to get yourself through the hurdle to get yourself toward that better feeling state. But anyways, thank you.
Yes. No, well said. And I'll just a brief comment on that. And then Hank, if you're available, love to hear from you. But on that, there's some things that are easy and natural for us to do, other things that are not. And like David is saying, to do those, I know that Emily actually works to like intentionally find things that she does not want to do and then do them for the purpose of strengthening that, call it muscle, that mental muscle, that of, hey, here's something that I don't want to do. And that's why I'm going to do it because I don't want to do it. And to do that consistently, give you guys some insight into the woman that I'm married to. Pray for me, guys, pray for me. She's a great influence. She really is. So Hank, if you are available, we'll wrap up the program.
Yes, I am.
Okay. Good morning,
Good
Hank.
morning.
How are you?
Great. How are you all doing? You all sound very great this morning. Good to hear from all of you. And missed you last week. Of course, we could not join in. We're a 3-hour difference in time. I couldn't quite get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to talk to you guys from Vegas. So,
understood.
But I'm playing catch up today real fast here. But anyway, right away to start off, I'm enjoying a brand new product, which we got samples of, and we have now ginger mint tea from Nutrilite. And I just fixed a cup of it. Let me share with you what's in it. Sounds really great. It tastes wonderful. It feels so soothing on the stomach going down too. The ingredients are organic peppermint leaf, organic ginger root, organic dandelion root, and organic lemongrass leaf. That's what's in this tea. It's just so good. It just has a good warm feeling. I was a big coffee guy first thing in the morning, which I broke away from. It was, an adjustment, but I enjoy now. I was drinking ginger lemon tea for a while, which we didn't have but now this just came out, and I love it. Ginger mint tea, just to let you know about it. Secondly, before we left for Vegas, a next neighbor of ours called me, and he was having some real challenges. He had surgery. The doctor had him on some kind of pharmaceuticals, medications, or drugs, whatever, that really constipated daylights out of him. So then the doctor ordered for him to get these tablets, which was running $500 a month for these tablets so he can go to the bathroom. I said, oh my gosh. He says, I can't do that. He says, the insurance company's got to stop paying for those pretty quickly, I'm sure. I says, well, he says, what do you recommend, Hank? I says, well, let's get you started on the prebiotics, probiotics. Okay, let's get your gut straightened out first. And so we ordered that for him. He got him. He started using the product. And I said, the other thing I'd recommend for you, I said, do you eat any fruit at all? He said, not really. I said, do this. Go to the store, buy yourself some, what is it? Prunes, some prunes. He says, prunes? I said, yeah, go buy some prunes and start taking a number of those a day. Mix them with a shake of some sort, whatever. And so he did. Well, since we've been back, guess what? He called me, when was it? I think Tuesday he called me. No, Wednesday. He says, thank you, Hank. I says, oh, what's happening, Vinny? He says, thank you. He says, those prunes work and the other stuff works too. That really has helped me. Thank you very much, he said. So just a thought on that, because I know some people have a challenge when they get on a program like HealthPointe, for example, with some constipation or have drugs in their system, whatever. So that seemed to help him really, really well. He was so thankful. He says, oh my gosh, what a difference. I'm starting to feel human, he said. So just a thought on that I want to share with you. And finally, since I think Kathy mentioned about Thanksgiving weekend, that's true, because we're moving out to going up to North Carolina to be with Jeff and his family for Thanksgiving dinner. And just let me tell you what I recommend, guys. And I do this daily anyway, but now we got eating bigger than normal. Digestive enzymes, okay? I take a digestive enzyme every meal before I eat. One before and one after when it's a regular meal. And that's my recommendation of Dr. Vicki Nelson. You all know her, right? And
Yes.
she's awesome. And then she says, if you have a big meal, take at least 2 after you eat. Always take 1 before, get those digestive enzymes going in your system. And then with a big meal, take 2 after you eat. So maybe some of us might have to take 3 after Thanksgiving dinner. I don't know. But I want to share that with you. Always helped me tremendously when I do that. And it just keeps things on target. Okay. So those are the thoughts I want to share with all of you. And I don't talk to you before. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're proud of all of you guys doing a great job. And Eric, thank you for putting this on a regular basis. You're a dynamo guy. Proud of you. Love you guys.
Morning.
Yeah, thank you, Hank. I love that. The ginger mint tea, the boy, there's no better friend than you to that guy with helping him out on that. I mean, helping him feel human again, as he so well said. And then the digestive enzyme, which we're coming into that season, guys. We'll maybe do some more tips and tricks on the holiday seasons. The concept of bookending. And doing certain things before and then certain things after the day. So it's that time of the year for sure. But that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been wonderful as always. It's always just a highlight, certainly, of my Saturday. So until next time, which will be next Saturday, same time, same place. We're signing off for today. Again, guys, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your Saturday. Bye-bye.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving,
Have a
everyone.
good
Thanks, Eric.
Thanksgiving.
Bye-bye.